suit he was wearing.
The purple fit.
And he had all these people around him.
Yeah. How do you not look at a guy like that and go, this guy's a bit nuts?
I'm making a mistake here.
What am I doing? Why am I following this guy in a full linen suit, long hair, beard? I mean,
I just wanted to do some meditation.
I mean, to be fair, like, if you didn't think that's a nuts look, you'd be like, this guy's kind of cool. I mean, the balls to wear something like that.
Oh, yeah. He definitely had the balls.
Outstanding. If you saw that guy at the pub, you go, fucking hell, what's he doing? I need a bit of that. His life's... I'd join him.
Go up and talk. Yeah, go up and
I'd
talk.
buy him a pint.
Carlin, is it, mate?
Stella or...
Fucking hell. That's why I chose you to be on this, because you're fucking funny, man. So we're talking about what's it called?
Where did you get those? Where did you get that purple suit?
His Nan made it.
His Nan made it.
Nan, can I have a purple linen suit?
Oh, Grandma, I seen this guy at the pub the other night. He had this purple suit on, full piece.
Full piece.
Full piece. The print of his knob looked amazing in it.
It was just a perfect fit.
Is
So, right. I'll get to the point of this. So, we're talking about, and I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Aum Shinrikyo. And it was a Japanese terrorist cult that did some fucking dirty things.
I think it was the only cult that got classified by the American government as like an actual terrorist organization.
Right.
So like it's cult, obviously, like as a organization sanctioned as a religious thing by the Japanese government, but also the Americans were like, they're terrorists as well.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't like, as far as it goes, like the only cult that I know about that was a terrorist organization at the same time, which is nuts in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the leader, so that was his name, wasn't it? Was it that? Isn't it, like he changed his name?
He changed his name from like a peasant name.
Yeah.
as Japanese societies go.
Yeah. Was it Chizuo Matsumoto? And so he founded Aum Shinrikyo in 1985, and in 1987 Matsumoto changed his name to Shoko Asahara. That's the one. Yeah, Shoko Asahara. So in general, he formed this cult, but we're going to delve in first into his early life, because I like to do these sort of early life things.
Yeah,
because it's like a build up, innit?
Yeah,
because you don't want to go like he did this, he did that, boom, done. And like I've done it before with like Kevin stuff with certain serial killers and stuff, where you see documentaries and it's like it just tells the story of when they kill people.
Yeah,
but it's like what happened before that?
Yeah. What led him to be a nut job?
Exactly that. Yeah. So that's why when we were like doing these notes.
Yeah.
Because I watched all this shit about him. And yeah, he's on the screen.
He's on the screen, and there's a load of people behind him with his mask on.
Mate, that's narcissistic to the fucking fullest, isn't it?
There's half of the screen is people behind him with his mask on, and then the other half is like people in hazmat suits.
The fucking correlation, right, mate? So, but I wanted to do, like I said before, going back in time, because, like I said, when you watch stuff and you go, oh, boom, 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 they killed this person, did that, and that's it, and you go, oh, they're an evil fucker. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but, like, I know they are evil and they've done horrible things, but, like, what? Why? Like you said, Cora, like, their upbringing, and what led to it
to be that.
So, his original name before Shoko Asahara was Chizuo Matsumoto, And he's born in 1955, fourth son of a large, poor family and tatami mat makers in Kumamoto Prefecture. God, that was hard to say.
You're struggling there.
Yeah, mate. And he had an infantile glaucoma from birth, which made him lose all sight in his left. Oh yeah, he was blind in that one eye, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he enrolled in a school for the blind when he was 6 due to being unable to follow on the family trade, and he never lived with this family again. So that straight away...
So he's blind, so he can't make mats.
but like, the fact that he's gone blind and his family have shipped him off to a school, but like kind of abandoned him.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
So straight away,
you can't make these mats, pal. You're too blind. Off you go.
See you later, mate. See you later. So he's been shipped off by his parents. So that straight away,
abandonment issues.
Exactly.
You know, I can't make mats.
Yeah.
And what am I worth?
I can make one an hour. I couldn't keep up.
From 6 years old.
Yeah.
I'm trying to weave these mats, but I'm getting the weaves wrong.
Everyone's winking at me to take the piss.
I'm making a doormat and they wanted me to make some kind of hallway mat.
I just couldn't do it.
I've not got it in me. This is not the life for me. You know what? I'm going to start my own fucking religion.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's immediately escalated.
He's 6. I'm making a fucking
This is
cult.
fucking bullshit. I'm Jesus.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Oh man, I don't know how we're gonna get through this because you make me laugh so much. Right, so we're going from his early life, and it's so Matsumoto discovered a way to earn money.
Hold on. Before you go on,
what?
Matsumoto.
Oh, they've done that on purpose, haven't they? The family are having a laugh here. Stop making me laugh, you dick.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. So, right, I'll start again.
Sorry.
Matsumoto discovered a way to earn money by directing other kids to a candy store, as he was the only student in school that was still capable of having some vision. This led him to becoming somewhat well liked. However, he was also known to be a bully at the school. Obviously,
yeah, that
they all
fits
fucking start out.
That fits into the character.
Yeah, it's all about me.
He's well liked. Come on, kids, I'll lead you to the candy store. I can see partially.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Exactly. So, he was known as a bully, taking advantage of the other students by beating them and extorting money from them. He's just a fucking horrible prick from the beginning.
Yeah,
isn't he?
I heard that when he come out of like this school, he had like 30 grand saved up from like it just extorting these kids.
Really?
Yeah.
What
so he's
the
like already he's kind of like, you know, all about the money. I've heard this cult being described as like a Ponzi scheme, but with like the, you know, the religious like backing behind it. But I think he's all about the money as well at the same time, because he's like obviously poor mat maker kind of thing coming from his background.
Wow.
So 30 grand out of his school.
Shit.
That I mean I've only just, you know, heard that through the research, but like that's nuts, isn't it? What?
Absolute mate. 30 grand. That is incredible.
30 grand, but it could be like maybe potentially Japanese money. So 30 grand might be like, you know, quid.
Yeah. 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 30,000 £1.
Well, that's 30 million yen.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That'll get you some sweets.
Yeah. couple of packs.
Yeah,
Like.
sorted.
During his adolescence, he developed a fantasy about ruling a kingdom of robots with total power, and confided in his schoolmates about his aspiration to rule Japan as prime minister. So he was still in school at this point.
Tom, you know what? I want to rule a nation of robots, mate. And,
go on then. I'm with you.
Gives them sweets.
He started just like the fucking sweets thing, and then he's like a nation of what, mate? I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
Alarm bells are already ringing pretty hard.
Yeah, mate. Right, so we have got the notes, and you know what? You can read the next bit.
Where's the next bit?
The third paragraph in.
He just. Cut that out.
He was born in. No.
So he graduated in 1973 and applied to study politics at Tokyo University, but he was rejected. I wonder why he was rejected.
I tried not to say something.
Something about the robots, maybe. He then turned to the study of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, which were common careers for the blind in Japan.
Oh, right.
That's so strange. How you know, all of your blind people get them into acupuncture, get them with the needles, because that's what they. Yeah. That's a good decision, isn't it? They're blind. Oh, give them the needles and stick them in me, please. Where was I? And he has established a Chinese medicine shop outside of Tokyo. Asahara married the following year and eventually fathered 6 children.
Fucking hell.
The eldest of whom was born in 1978. In 1981, Matsumoto was convicted of practicing pharmacy without a license and selling unregulated drugs, for which he was fined 200,000 yen, which is the equivalent of about 270,000 yen, or in English pounds, 1,500.
Oh yeah, in 2023. So 270,000 yen in 2020. Yeah, 200,000. Oh yeah. Shit, 1,500.
Yeah, it's a $250,000.
Yeah.
Yen. It's about a grand.
Yeah. So 30 grand that he saved.
Yeah,
probably about 18p.
Whoa. He's so impressive.
So Matsumoto's interest in religion reportedly started at this time. Having been recently married, he worked to support his large and growing family. He dedicated his free time to the study of various religious concepts, starting with Chinese astrology and Taoism. Later, Asahara practiced Western what's that fucking word?
Esotericism. Oh Christ!
Esotericism. What is that?
I've not a Scooby. That's worth.
You're gonna Google it.
I'll Google it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to spell it first, won't I?
Esotericism. I have no idea. There's people probably listening to this going, "You fucking moron! We know exactly what you're talking about." But yeah, go on.
Sometimes the Western mystery tradition. It's a term scholars use to classify a wide range of loosely related ideas and movements that developed within Western society. That narrows it down. Sound.
Right. Okay.
It's all about Christian kind of. I think it's like Christian doomsday kind of. You know,
right,
you're gonna be in the rapture.
And just even now, you know it's not going to end well. Just, mate. So Western esotericism, yoga, meditation, esoteric Buddhism, and esoteric Christianity. He let his hair and beard grow and adopted the name Shoko Asahara. Shoko meaning an offering of incense in Japanese, and Asahara being an aristocratic surname, unlike the plebeian surname Matsumoto.
Well, he's a plebeian.
He's a fucking pleb. Jesus.
Matt.
It's all going downhill from here, isn't it?
It's
really?
all going down. You know, to be fair to him, he's on the up. He's changed his name from Matsumoto to Asahara. So he's all, he's climbing the ladder.
Yeah. He feels good in himself.
He's climbing it himself. Fair play to him.
Good lad.
Do you not think it's mental, like how they have, like, you could tell immediately off of your surname, like where you are in the rank?
Yeah.
Like Matsumoto. Oh, I know you're making some mats, mate.
Yeah.
Asahara.
You're the bottom of the barrel, like.
Wow.
Yeah, oh god.
Can I follow him?
He didn't have big enough balls to like carry his own name, so he had to change it. So he's a bit insecure.
You're not rating him for that.
Oh, I know, mate. Right, so starting in 1984, Asahara made several pilgrimages to India, where he met Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. He later claimed that his followers that he managed to achieve enlightenment, and he met Shiva and was given a special mission to preach real Buddhism in Japan. The Dalai Lama later distanced himself from Asahara, of course he did, and said that he had met a strange Japanese man. So he's come back and gone, it's fucking brilliant. We done this, we done that. I'm the Messiah, and this dude's gone, it's a fucking strange Japanese fella. Like, oh mate.
So that was in India.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been then after like the Chinese invaded Tibet. So all of the like Buddhists like ran away to India.
Right.
I'm guessing then that he would have gone after that.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know this shit.
That's quite interesting that he met the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, I didn't know. This is why I delved into it more.
I've seen pictures of. I think he used like pictures of him with the Dalai Lama to like convince people of how like
And the Dalai Lama's going, he's a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, this guy.
Didn't tell him that, did he?
No.
fucking burped as I laughed then. So, carry on. So, he met a strange Japanese man, but denied having any significant relationship with him. Asahara returned permanently to Japan in 1987 and assumed the title Sonshi, meaning guru.
I think when he went to India to like meet the Buddhists, he was like given the mission to spread like proper Buddhism back in Japan, like the same Buddhism as like the Dalai Lama would preach.
Yeah.
But then when he started doing all this like mental stuff, the Dalai Lama had to go back on it. And like,
distance himself, like
this guy's nuts.
Yeah.
His suits are nice though.
If you want to look up this dude, just look what he was wearing because it's fucking hilarious.
You'd be jealous, like.
Yeah. Sonshi, meaning guru, before stating that he had mastered meditation to such an extent that he could lift himself with his mind. What a dick, man.
I mean, like, if I saw that in real life, like someone levitating.
Didn't you see that was on the documentary? I don't know if you saw it, where there's a picture of him.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to do a mega
levitating. Yeah. Like, quotation mark, levitating.
But it's like a still picture of him, like quite obviously jumping
yeah,
up.
Yeah. And someone else did it, and he was like, oh shit, yeah. Like, what? What a rookie mistake.
Yeah. If I saw that, I'd be like, come on, lad.
Yeah, because you can see him. He's clearly just hopping in the air.
Yeah.
Like.
And like all the people that he like supposedly kind of converted to his cause were all like really like high up, like intelligent people in Japanese society, like like professors, all that kind of stuff. Like if you're reasonably intelligent, you'd look at a picture of someone supposedly levitating and you go, that's fucking bollocks.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so glad that you told me about this dude, because like I've done in a previous episode we did about David Koresh, the Waco siege.
Yeah.
And it just boggles my fuck it, because I never used to really be into cults because I'm a bit kind of morbid. He didn't kill anyone, so I'm like, it's boring.
Well,
but then when I looked into it, I'm like, oh my god, these cults are fucking mental. And you told me about, because we were pissed, weren't we, in oil, and we were talking about stuff, and because this is how it originated, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you were like, have you heard of Aum Shinrikyo? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you told me in a nutshell, and I went, what the hell is that?
And like since then I've gone down the rabbit hole and it's just gone like way more mental. This guy, obviously we'll get into it a bit more later, but
mate, like, because when afterwards obviously I watched the documentary and stuff and like did some research, and it just, the more I watched it, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it.
Him going to Russia in itself to go and buy weapons is genuinely insane.
Yeah, and it's the same as, like, again with David Koresh. like he bought all these arms, and it's like you're supposed to be some nice, peaceful, religious little sect.
Why are you
buying guns?
Why are you arming up?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you tooling yourself up? Like, it's weird.
So
isn't it?
I don't know much about like obviously I've heard of Waco.
Yeah,
and where
yeah.
they like everyone
Oh, mate. It's incredible.
like the last stand.
Yeah.
Drinking the Kool-Aid. Is that the right?
No, that was Jonestown.
Oh.
Jim Jones, yeah. But Waco, in a nutshell, is he was like a religious dude, worked his way up, got his followers, and they had a little compound. And when they armed themselves, so he bought a shitload of guns from whatever country.
Yeah.
And there was, when they got them delivered, the guy that delivered them, it broke the big box thing, the wooden box, broke a bit, and a grenade like rolled out. So he was like, "What the fuck are they ordering from Amazon?" Like
off of Jeff Bezos.
so he told someone, local area, like,
Yeah.
but it happened to be a member of David Koresh's crew.
Oh,
So that's why David Koresh was like, right, we got to fucking prepare ourselves. But then
no.
Yeah, and the feds and stuff got involved. It was like the ATF that turned up and said, why are you arming yourself up? And you've got these children and women in there and stuff. There was fucking hundreds of people in there.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then they had a shootout. But the thing is, there's a whole big controversy about this event because they didn't know who shot first.
Oh, okay. And that's big in America, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's people that are going, well, the feds shot at these innocent people first and they were defending themselves.
Yeah.
Or it's the other way around where they're just nut jobs shooting at the authority.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a weird thing. But yeah, it was like something, I'm sure, like it was about 52 days.
Oh, like a stakeout kind of thing.
Whole 52 days.
How did it end?
There was a fire, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's another controversy where like they think that they burnt all these innocent people out or whatever, But I think experts have looked, and the fire, like you see helicopter footage.
Yeah.
And the fire started like inside in like certain areas, like they've done it themselves. Like these goons, his goons have done it. And it started to get more and more and more. And there were a handful of children, women and children and blokes that came out, but most of them died in there.
In the fire.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, smoke inhalation, and they found afterwards, like in the aftermath, in the rubble and stuff, David Koresh had a gunshot wound to his forehead, right? So again, experts were like, well, he didn't shoot himself.
Wouldn't shoot yourself in the forehead, would
Exactly.
you? No.
So he's done the Jim Jones thing where he's asked everyone to like sacrifice themselves, but he's got
someone else to do it.
Cowardly way out. Yep. So he's done. Yeah. But anyway, so that's another episode anyway. but yeah. So Asahara, he promoted this achievement with pamphlets doing this meditation stuff. Produced by his own publishing company, but outside a few Japanese periodicals with an occult subject, little publicity was achieved.
So I reckon, I think as well, you were talking about there, like we were saying about his anime earlier, weren't we? We were going to bang it on.
Mate.
So I've muted it, and we'll just have it on in the background. But he funded his own anime, and I think he went on TV loads of times as well, and like performed kind of like miracles where he would like
oh god,
there'd be someone who is like in pain or whatever.
You can walk.
It's like he said, didn't he? He's like the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, and obviously like. In Japan, anime is like a massive thing.
Yeah.
It has been for ages, and it looks really good. Like
yeah,
if I was a little Japanese kid,
yeah,
I'd love
it's
that.
propaganda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Looking at it, it's pretty cool, but obviously the whole shit behind it, it's dark, isn't it?
Would you join a cult? If it was really convincing, and he had a nice anime. He's got his purple suit on there. Like,
if they've got nice anime,
if he's got lovely shiny hair, then I can be persuaded. What is he levitating into the skyline of Japan?
so for anyone listening, like fucking just Aum Shinrikyo put on the anime and like, but after listening to this, because you'll know the whole background, and then you put it on and you just go, what the fucking hell is going on? Because in itself, as a kid, if you just whacked it on, it's a good little thing. But it's strange.
It's kind of like cutting around a bit. It's a bit brainwashy.
Yeah.
I think he's the truth anyway.
Right, so carrying on from his... So we're getting to the end of like his...
I'm watching these videos and I'm getting converted, mate.
I think I might join you. Mate.
You know, they're still going. They're like, after all of the stuff that we'll talk about in a bit, like, they like changed their names like a couple of times. And obviously they like transformed Japanese society. So they couldn't carry on as Aum Shinrikyo, but they changed their name. I don't know if you got it in your notes, but they're still around now.
You know what I did? I googled it, and there's still the website.
Is there?
I think there's a website.
No way.
It might be in another call I looked at. But I'm sure. Yeah, I googled it, and there was an article where they are. Yeah, like you said, they are still going.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, so did you say like they changed their name?
Yeah,
a few times.
They changed their name.
So it's not Aum Shinrikyo now.
No, I think they got like
Obviously.
sanctioned by the Japanese government.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Even if you
fair enough.
Yeah, even if you didn't get sanctioned, you would change your name, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, fucking hell, it's not a good business venture, really.
No, we didn't do that. That's fine.
So around this period, Asahara began exploring multiple spiritual perspectives: Taoism, Buddhism, the Hindu religion, and astrology. Like he's going for everything, isn't he? In the early 90s, Asahara published a book. Shit. See, a lot of this that I'm reading, I didn't know because it's more in depth than like the documentaries. He published a book in which he declared himself to be Christ. He called himself the Lamb of God. Great. Tell you what, Lamb of God, good band. Asahara announced that it was his job to take on the sins of the world, and that for this reason he could relieve anyone who followed him of their sins. He also wrote a detailed manifesto outlining his doomsday prophecy, which included a third world war started by the US. Asahara claimed that those who joined him in his new group, Aum Shinrikyo, would survive these end times. I tell you what,
if you paid me some cash, you can survive the end times.
I tell you what, on that documentary, the animation in the background, it's funny. on that documentary where he would like drug some followers where they're at, they're off their tits, and they go, "Here's a form, sign that," and they'd lose their house, their car, everything, like, all their money.
The most nuts things about like what he got his followers to do. I was watching something earlier where he would like make his followers take baths at like 50 degrees Celsius. He'd like, as a form of like spiritual healing or whatever, he'd make you take a mentally hot bath, or like
so they're out of it, like they get a bit funny.
I think there was a dude who took this 50-degree bath and like he died as a result of it, because obviously like 50-degree bath, you're gonna get absolutely scalded.
Yeah.
He like died as a result of it, and then they like covered it up, and like all of his family were obviously like asking questions like, what happened to him?
Yeah.
We took a real hot bath.
Yeah, he just loved his hot baths.
This guy is super right now.
Oh my god, that's quite clever though.
Like as a form of mind control, like you go through the suffering, and that's how you get enlightenment. But at the same time, like you could die.
Yeah,
and there was like, I listened to some tapes as well that he used to make his followers listen to, and it was like they're mental. Like if you could play them on here, but it's just like him repeating like, do your meditation, do your meditation, do your meditation. Have you
Yeah,
heard 'em?
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah, mate. So following on from like, so he was. It said, was it? He was trying to, recruit people because he's in World War III and all this bollocks. And it says, although Shinrikyo was fairly controversial, it also attracted many highly educated and financially well-off people and soon became known as a religious group for the elite of Japanese society. So yeah, like you said before, he got all these smart people,
I think that's so
prominent
strange.
members of society.
How, like, you think of like doctors, lawyers, that's who he was recruiting. How could, so intelligent people be lured in by this? And I think it's kind of like how he combined the religions, like the religions of the world, and he combined it with scientific knowledge at the same time. And
Smart.
yeah, and
That's how he lured him in then.
yeah, I just think that's so clever. A combination of religions, which has happened before in previous like religions of the world.
Yeah.
But I think how he combined it with modern day life and spirituality and science is what probably lured in these high members of society into giving him some money.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, mate, smart shit.
I think he was a very intelligent guy.
I think you have to be. Yeah.
As much as we like might take the piss out of him for being an actual nutter, he must have been really intelligent to be able to fool all of these people that are high up in Japanese society into believing his bollocks. Like we look back at it now as like, oh, this lad's like pretending to levitate and wearing purple suits. He looks like a right knobhead. But like, he's got to have some serious intelligence behind that to be able to fool all of these people into to believe in his stick.
Yeah.
And he might have just reworked a load of religions into something that would, attract that out of society. But like,
it's like he's covered all bases, hasn't he?
Yeah, it takes a definite level of intelligence and narcissism in himself to fucking plow through with that.
Yeah, and it's like that, that fine line they say between genius and insane.
Oh yeah,
and he was like teetering. He was between.
Well, he couldn't see the line.
Yeah, yeah. So Asahara and his followers believe strongly in biblical prophecies, particularly those surrounding the end of times. Their plan of salvation included spiritual healing to cure physical illnesses, positive thinking to improve intelligence, and living by aesthetic practices. So he's appealing to everyone as much as he can.
Yeah,
because he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So everyone's got something wrong. Family members. Not yourself. So he's thinking, not just Buddhism. He's doing Christianity. He's doing all these different religions and different practices. And yeah, like you said, he's luring them in.
And I think in Japan as well, there was like after the Second World War, the Americans made them have like an act which was like an openness of religion. So they were more
like allowing,
accepting of new religions into their society. And I think it was like, if you're a religion, you're exempt from taxes. So he obviously loved his money and he was trying to get more of it in. So he attempted and successfully attempted to become a religion. So all of the donations from his followers, I guess, would be like tax exempt.
Jammy bastard.
I know, yeah. I bet he was. He was on a fair few.
Fucking. So he has literally thought of everything.
Yeah.
To cover himself, so he can just be there as like, I'm the Messiah.
Yeah.
And go.
I think that's how he. When this lawyer was after him, I don't know if that's coming up.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, carry on.
So this lawyer, I think, was like a big cult. He was against cults as a lawyer. He would try and take them down. So I think they they convinced him to give a sample of his blood to this lawyer and then test it to see if there was anything, actually magical about him, or whether he was just chatting shit. And obviously it came back that he was just chatting shit.
Yeah, it's just an average Japanese fella.
Yeah, he's just some guy.
You're not the fucking Messiah.
It says in his results he loves a fancy suit. And so obviously they came back as he's chatting absolute shit.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe that, mate. Like you said before about the lawyer thing.
And so
before all this sort of shit kicked off, big style, like.
Yeah. And then the cult went after this lawyer to fucking silence his ass. And I feel like that must be coming up next, because I think it was reasonably early on. Shall I read the next paragraph on this?
Yeah, go for it.
So, however, as the years passed and the new Aum Shinrikyo members grew disillusioned, word began to leak out that new recruits were being held against their will and forced to donate money to the group. A lawyer named Tsuzuki Sakamoto, who had been representing families of the cult members, disappeared in 1989 along with his wife and toddler son. When their bodies were found 6 years later, authorities concluded that they were murdered by members of Aum Shinrikyo.
Mate, it's funny that, I think it's coming up. It's the next bit.
It's almost like I read this before, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. But
so
his toddler son as well.
So I think that from what I remember, I could be completely wrong, obviously, but they were staking out this lawyer, and they were expecting him to show up so they could obviously assassinate him, but he never turned up. So they went to his house, where his family was. They went there with a load of needles and hammers, and the needles were filled with some nuts chemical. I can't remember exactly what it was. So they broke in, they smashed him over the head with a hammer, and then I think they tried to inject his wife with this chemical, and then they were kicking her to death, which is obviously horrendous. And then they killed his toddler son as well. And
so did they inject the little boy as well? Is that what they did?
I'm not sure, but I think potentially they did. But once they'd killed all of them, they got them into barrels, and they hid them across 3 different prefectures in Japan, so that they would never
harder
be
to find, isn't it?
Found out, yeah.
Shit, 6 years later.
Yeah,
6 years.
So they got away with it. So this guy was trying to take him down on behalf of the families that had been abducted by the cult, but they just took him out before, and they obviously if he was successful as a lawyer, it might have not carried on to escalate in the way that it did.
But it's even so, this was before it all kind of got quite big, massive and prominent. Those people that were with him and carrying out the killings must have been maybe doctors and intelligent people,
properly indoctrinated.
They've just killed a family.
I couldn't imagine any idea that would ever make me want to go and murder a little baby.
If it's me and I'm the Messiah, you're my fucking little follower.
Yeah, go kill this toddler.
Yeah, and you'll go, yes, and yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Do you know what I mean? And this is before it became huge, and it's so he must have had something, he's charismatic and whatever, and all these sort of traits that he had.
Yeah. But
still, come on.
We're reasonably charismatic. If you told me to go and murder a toddler, I'd go, no fucking chance. You're off your head. And I'd go and ring the police. How much charisma can one person have?
Exactly, mate. And this is why we're talking about it.
Yeah, well,
it's fucking nuts.
Definitely interesting.
Oh, man. So the next up is, in 1993, Aum Shinrikyo, the group began to secretly manufacture sarin and what's VX gas?
Oh, I don't know.
Give it a Google.
Google that. Yeah.
They did it in a lab, in their compound, and they tested the substances on sheep, and then they proceeded to use the gas in several assassination attempts over the next year and a half. So I'm wondering who they're trying to kill now, like. Oh, my ex-girlfriend, she broke my heart. Might as well fucking write her off, like.
Well, I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to kick off, like, World War III with America.
Right.
So they were, like, trying to maybe potentially frame the Americans to, like, kind of come into a bigger conflict. But VX gas is just an extremely toxic synthetic compound. Oh my God, some huge words there.
Go on, give it a go. And
Organosthoporus.
Let me have a look. Wow. Oh my God. Organophosphorus and thiophosphonate. In the class of nerve agents, it was developed for military use in chemical warfare after the translation of earlier discoveries of organophosphorate toxicity in pesticide research.
And he's had a few pints.
Yeah. That was all right.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Not bad, was it?
Better than me, like. Essentially, nerve gas.
Yeah. I never heard of it, VX gas. In 1994... Aum Shinrikyo, the members released a cloud of sarin into the Japanese city of Matsumoto, killing 8 people and injuring 5. Is this the actual?
See, I think that was
before.
That's before. That's like them testing it out, and they just like let it off into this town and just kind of to see what would happen.
Right, so they let this gas off in Matsumoto, and they killed 8 people, injuring 500 people.
That's insane.
The targeted neighbourhood was home to several judges who were sitting on the council of a real estate lawsuit which was expected to go against Aum Shinrikyo. Unfortunately, police were unable to determine that the cult was behind the attack. So they're just fucking... They're trying to eliminate everyone that just says no to them.
Yeah, these dastardly kids, they got away with it again.
Judges, like... Mate, he was fucking bold, like,
How's he...
That judge doesn't like me, fucking let's kill him.
Let's release a whole nerve agent cloud into the town that they're in. Sound.
Jesus Christ, man.
Did we say here they went to Australia in...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think...
Because I think they bought a sheep ranch in Australia to test out all of these gases,
right?
And then I think they got done by like the Australian government for having like obviously deadly nerve agents. And as well, quick aside, I'm pretty sure I saw on one of these videos that I watched that they went to an African country that had a recent Ebola outbreak. And
I remember. I think you remember telling me about this, yeah.
And he went to a recently like nation that had an outbreak recently, and tried to take the Ebola virus so he could weaponize it back in Japan. So this guy, he's going to Australia to test out chemical weapons. He's going to like African countries to find some biological, like seriously deadly disease to use against just the public, just to start his apocalypse off, which is so vast. The lengths that this guy's willing to go to cause some serious mayhem,
mate,
and like
all because his fucking parents shipped him off to blind school.
To be fair, I'd be fuming as well.
Yeah.
Let me make some mats.
Let me make some mats, Mum. Nah, if you don't let me, I'm just gonna try and kill the entire fucking universe.
I bet she would have let him make some mats if she knew what he was up to.
Yeah. I think over time he could have made some good ones, like.
Well, it would have taken him a while.
So we've got to 1995 March. Police were about to close in on Asahara and his followers for their role in the murder of Kiyoshi Kayara, the brother of a cult member who had escaped. Whoa. So Asahara was tipped off about the police and the investigation and decided it was time for a distraction. On March 20th, 1995, members of Aum Shinrikyo, working under Asahara's orders, released a chemical nerve agent in the Tokyo subway system. Oh, so that's why it happened then.
So he must have been like, they're closing in on me.
Try and wipe out as many people as he could.
He must have been planning it for a while and then been like, right, well, that's a sign. They're closing down on me. They're going to shut me down. I need to kick off the doomsday now.
Yeah, press the big red button.
Press the big red button.
Jesus. The attackers brought liquid sarin, carried in plastic bags and wrapped in newspaper, onto 5 separate subway trains during peak rush hour. Each individual who carried a packet of sarin also carried an umbrella with a sharpened tip, which I thought, that's quite smart, that.
You know, we're planning this chemical attack. Have you sharpened the tips of the umbrellas?
I haven't done it yet.
Can you get to it?
Sorry.
Because,
Sorry, mate. I'll do it tomorrow. I've got a gig at a care home tomorrow, but I'll do it after that.
Well, we need... Well, it's pretty important, mate. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, sorry. I meant to do it.
Come on. You're a top cult member here.
I'm your right-hand man. So the attackers brought the liquid sarin, the plastic bags. Once the trains arrived at predetermined stations, they punctured the bags of sarin with the umbrella tip, then departed from the subway, leaving the sarin to leak out into the train cars.
So I think it was like 2 separate chemicals in like plasticky bags.
Yeah, I want to know about this because I don't know the really intricate.
So like when the 2 chemicals mix, obviously I don't really know. But, so they puncture both both of the bags and then they mix, and then that's what creates the chemical reaction that would make the sarin gas. And they obviously wrapped it up in newspaper to hide what they were up to. But like you saw someone puncture 2 bags of stuff, you'd be like, what are you doing, lad?
What are you doing, mate? Like, you see videos of what you do? Gone. You're a goner. Several of the trains.
Pointing umbrella.
Yeah, fucking scratching the place, mate. Several of the trains continued on for multiple stops before anyone realised what was happening. By the time the attack had ended, Tokyo's subway line looked like a war zone. Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times wrote, "Subway entrances soon looked like battlefields, and injured commuters lay gasping on the ground, some of them with blood gushing from the nose or the mouth."
Christ.
I know, mate. Army troops from a chemical warfare unit rushed to the scene with special vehicles to clear the air, and men in gas masks and clothes resembling spacesuits probed for clues.
I got some...
Go on.
A description of what sarin gas actually does. So sarin, like all nerve agents, interferes with the operation of an enzyme that stops muscles from contracting. When this enzyme does not work correctly, muscles are constantly being stimulated. With continuous contraction of muscles, exposed people may become tired and no longer be able to keep breathing. So I think what I've heard as well is that it's sort of like all the neurons in your brain are just fucking firing all at once. So it's like all of your taps have been turned on. So you're shitting, you're puking, you're like crying, you're snot out of your nose. It's just everything all at once. And you're like, bleeding from your eyes kind of stuff. It's like,
God,
it is awful. Probably the worst thing that you could imagine happening to you as a human. And like a lot of people lived through that. And, at the same time, people died from it as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like how close you were to the punctured bags is how bad you got it. But I remember seeing on one of these documentaries, like one of the guys in the subway, he was really, really brave. He picked up the bags. He obviously died. He picked up the bags and took it away from all of the people so that they wouldn't get as badly affected. and obviously
Wow.
he died.
What a
But
hero.
yeah, I know. It's like he obviously knew that that's what's causing it.
Jesus.
But could you imagine doing that whilst you're like, you know, like puking?
Oh my God. They need a
Can't
fucking big
see.
statue of this dude.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
It-
Oh my God. I'd be fucking screaming and running for my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, like a natural reaction.
Yeah, yeah. You would just run, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And obviously that's what a lot of people did. But there's some people that are just like, you know, I'm already gone here.
Jesus Christ.
And like you start off your day, breakfast, kiss the wife goodbye, get on the train, and then that's it. You're gone.
Yeah. I saw an interview, it was on one of the documentaries, of a wife of one of the blokes that died. And they said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like he died really quickly, but like really fucking excruciatingly, like really bad.
Yeah.
And she had to ring her daughter and explain like what had happened.
happened,
And
yeah.
it's, how do you explain that? And I think that was the whole thing she was saying, like, your dad's been on a subway to work and some gas has been let off and blah, blah, blah.
It must be so confusing at the time as well, because I think after it had happened, it took them months to like track it down to Aum Shinrikyo, because it's not like a normal terrorist where they like, you know, say, oh, we did this.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't.
Yeah, because they announced
just
that they're
want
proud
they just
of...
waiting for the doomsday to happen from there.
Yeah. Oh, mate. It's unreal. So the... after what I was saying before about the dude from the New York Times wrote, a single drop of sarin is enough to kill an adult. A single drop. The attack left 13 people dead and thousands injured from the effects of the nerve gas. 2 decades later, many of the survivors say that they still have vision problems as a result from the sarin exposure.
Jesus. And that's sort of like full circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Like,
Christ, yeah. Yeah. He's like, it's come true.
You fuckers.
Yeah. I'm going to make you all blind. So the aftermath. So after the subway attack, police raided several of the group's compounds. Aum Shinrikyo's labs contained so many chemical compounds that, according to the authorities, they could have created enough sarin to kill 4 million people.
Mic drop. That's absolutely insane. How have they, like, procured that amount of chemicals and flown under the radar? Because, like, now, you can't buy, like, 4 bottles of bleach.
12 bottles of bleach.
12, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah. Like, that's so nuts.
Mate, you can't fart without the government knowing about it.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
4 million people.
See, my hopes of becoming a cult leader are absolutely
I know, mate.
shot, mate.
We'll have to scrap what you've done. We'll have to rethink.
Yeah, it's a bit boring.
Yeah. We'll have to think about it. If anyone wants to join, just hit us up.
If
Like
anyone wants to join, give us a tenner.
subscription.
Give us a tenner, and
We've got a website.
I'll give you a t-shirt.
Yeah, mate. Merch. It brings people
Merch,
in.
yeah, no. There he is.
All right, Sam. Yeah, I'm with you on that. The police arrested hundreds of members of the group and apprehended Asahara himself 2 months later. The 200 cult members were convicted on charges related to the subway attacks, and 13 of them, including Asahara, were sentenced to death. In October 1995, the Japanese government officially stripped Aum Shinrikyo of its status as a religious group, but the group continues to operate as a non-incorporated religion. Following Asahara's arrest and the trial, the group reinvented itself under the name Aleph and currently has about 2,000 members. The group remains under regular surveillance by authorities.
I heard that it's not just in Japan that they have members. And obviously when it was massive, they had like people in Russia.
Really?
Like, you know, all over. But I think mainly Russia, because that's where they were going for like the weapons. I don't know how it was like televised, or
Yeah.
you know what the language barrier was like there.
Yeah, that's a bit hard, isn't
It's
it?
a bit weird, like, but they are like close together, Russia and Japan, and I think what they would have still been. Oh no, they wouldn't have been communist at that point. So it would have been just after. I think Soviet Union collapsed 1991. So it would have been like in the turmoil after the collapse.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Maybe people were looking for some kind of answers.
Yeah.
Give you some weapons.
Yeah.
Teach me how to levitate.
Yeah. Where'd you get your suit from, pal? Fucking Jesus Christ. So where are we now? Right, so Aum Shinrikyo / Aleph maintains compounds in several countries. In 2016, the Russian government declared them to be a terrorist organisation and banned them from activities in the country. So the Russians have gone, now, see you later, mate.
So the Russians think they're terrorists. I think the Americans said that they were terrorists, obviously, way before that. In 2016, so that was 2 years before he was hanged. Because he was hanged in 2018. So that's nuts, isn't it? Like, way after he's been arrested, they're like...
It's all,
okay,
it's all out in the open, what he's done, and he's this, and this. It's taken that long.
Yeah, so they're obviously still going.
Yeah.
And potentially still doing the same level of... Well,
I wonder how they've carried it on, you know, because obviously it was all from his brain, one person's brain. I wonder how they've...
Do you think it's like, you know, he's in prison, but he's still... Like got in contact.
Oh, definitely.
Like shot calling.
I reckon so.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily, mate.
But it's still going on now, I think, with like very limited members.
Yeah, well, it says like they've got 2,000 overall, which isn't like, it is a lot, but it isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not worldwide, obviously.
Well, if you had 2,000 people ready to, you know, carry out a terrorist attack, that's still...
That is a lot, yeah.
A lot.
I think I'm going to take that back, actually. That is a lot of people. The group went underground after the Tokyo attack, but did not disappear. Eventually renamed Aleph again. Another small group... Another smaller group, Ikari no Wa, translated to Circle of Rainbow Light, headed to Aum's former spokesman... and Asahara's successor, Fumihiro Joyu, and it was formed in 2007. Joyu claimed to have distanced his group from worship of Asahara. Aum Shinrikyo is designated as a terrorist organisation in the US and many other countries, but Aleph and Ikari no Wa are both legal in Japan, albeit designated as dangerous religions subject to heightened surveillance. So they're allowed to do it, but they're being watched constantly. Like,
this is his successor, Fumihiro Joyu.
Oh, is that him?
That's him, yeah. There he is. He's not quite as...
I think I saw him on the TV before.
Potentially. He's not quite as striking, is he? He looks a bit boring, like, in comparison.
Yeah.
Where's the shiny suit, mate?
Yeah, where's the beard? Where's the beard and the long hair? Mate, he's wearing a suit. You need a pink... You need a pink suit, mate. Know,
maybe he's not as nuts.
He looks like quite a nice fella.
He does, yeah.
But who knows? Who knows?
I'd join him.
This is a cool bit. Did Aum operate outside Japan? The group operated in former Soviet states after the collapse of the USSR. In March 2016, Montenegro expelled 58 foreigners suspected of association with Aum Shinrikyo. They were gathered at a hotel that they had rented in the former Yugoslav region. 4 were from Japan. The Interior Ministry had said that, but 43 were from Russia, 7 from Belarus, 3 from the Ukraine, and 1 from Uzbekistan.
That's so strange how all of those ex-Soviet states were all like properly geared up to join a Japanese cult, which I think it must be like such a strange juxtaposition of cultures. Yeah, because you think of Eastern Europeans, what do they have in common with the Japanese?
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, you have to kind of have something in common, like to kind of bring them in.
Bridge the gap of cultures.
Yeah, it's like us trying to form a gang and then asking someone from fucking Uganda to go. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't understand because it's different.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Different countries, different language, different this, different that. So
all of his teachings that would have been, like do your meditation. Are they translating that into Russian?
Yeah.
How does the gap of the religion, the Tao, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Christianity
get the burp out?
Come over. How does that translate to the
exactly, and
to the Russian?
And that's another fascinating element, isn't it?
How polarizing he was as a man.
Exactly, yeah.
That is seriously impressive to span all those countries.
It is very impressive, yeah. So Russian raids in April 2016 targeted 25 properties. The group is illegal in Russia, but prosecutors said that at the time it may have been up to 30,000 Russian followers.
That is insane. It kind of makes sense where he's getting all these weapons from if they're all following his ass.
Yeah.
After the Soviet collapse,
We'll buy a shitload of guns if you follow me a bit. Get your mates to jump on board.
After it all fell apart in the Soviet Union, like all the weapons trades and stuff like that was a bit more loose because obviously they had all of like these Soviet weapons to try and sell, and like people were trying to make money on that.
Yeah.
Probably follows on a bit from that.
Yeah, they did some sort of deal.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've had a couple of beers, haven't we? Yeah. A few human rights advocates in Japan have defended Aum cultists who have not been found guilty of crimes, saying they were unaware of plans to attack the Tokyo subway.
Oh, yeah.
Is it true? I was unaware. I didn't have a clue.
Don't believe you, lad.
But members have little prospect of social or official acceptance despite attempts to distance themselves from the events of more than 2 decades ago.
Well, I mean, obviously, like...
Yeah.
If you're still saying you're part of this cult that killed however many people and maimed way more, obviously you're going to get told to fuck off.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
What are you still there
exactly,
for?
Yeah.
Like...
And like you said before, so eventually he got hanged, didn't he, in 2018?
Yeah.
And I didn't realise, the death penalty. I didn't realise that was...
In Japan.
Japan, yeah.
Because you'd think of Japan and you think like, oh, like they're quite a liberal society. You think like, all... anime and Hello Kitty and all that kind of stuff. You don't think they're like...
They're nice people.
Yeah. But I suppose you'd think the same with Americans.
Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't think that even if they did have the death penalty, but hanging.
Yeah.
It's like fucking medieval shit, like it's old school shit, isn't it?
Yeah. Give them...
lethal injection.
Electric chair.
Shooting.
Even an electric chair is pretty nasty.
Yeah. But hanging, like, mate, that's old.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Get the guillotine out.
Yeah.
Chop his fucking head off.
Yeah. I think talking to the guillotine, I think it was France. I think it was they got rid of it, abolished it in the 20s or maybe a bit. Look it up.
I'll look it up
because the guillotine was still around way later than I actually thought, and I was thinking, shit, they're still actually just chopping people's heads off. Like, wow. Go on.
10th of September 1977.
Mate, so I was completely wrong. And even the 20s I thought was too late. And that was just floating around my head. But the 7th... Go on.
And after its adoption, the device remained France's standard method of judicial execution until the abolition of capital punishment in 1981. The last person to be executed by a government via guillotine was Hamida Jandoubi on 10th of September 1977 in France.
Fuck.
So, in France. So you could go to a guillotine in France in the 70s. Potentially. I don't know whether they did it in public, because sometimes
I don't think it would have been.
Away from the public kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it probably was the same as that, but...
Jesus Christ.
Still, guillotine is absolutely brutal. Just a huge cleaver.
Mate, like, I tell you what, to end on this,
yeah,
it's a morbid question.
Go on.
capital punishment wise,
Yeah.
I'd say not that it's not the ones that are still legal and like going today.
Yeah.
But out of all of them, like guillotine and like all like hanging, and like
Yeah.
which one would you prefer?
Which one would I prefer for me to go out with?
Yeah.
See, I think if you're gonna go out, you got to go all out. So
Go on.
So-
I'm intrigued now.
So, you know, hang, drawn, and quartered. Have you seen that? Well,
Yeah, yeah.
have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah. I saw it
Do
down
you
the
remember?
pub.
Yeah,
down the pub yesterday.
Oh, no
yeah.
worries. It was well nice, isn't it? Oh, fuck. I keep kicking that. So, you get hung, you get strangled out. When you're just about to pass out, they take you down, they draw you, so they stretch you out. I think they stretch you out on a rack.
In Iraq.
Oh no, drawn. I think drawn is where they just gut you. So they'll slice your belly open, take your intestines out, and then quartered, they just like chop
Take
your
your
arms
limb-
and
yeah,
your
your
legs
limbs.
off. Like William Wallace.
So,
Freedom!
so you're going out with a bang.
That's how I'm going.
Basically.
Yeah. And then I think
I suppose. Yeah. If
that's
you know
the
you're gonna
worst
die.
way to go, innit? I don't like realistically. If you're asking
Yeah.
me realistically, I'd just say shoot us in the back of the head. Well, like Lenny, give me a nice view,
Yeah.
maybe a cig
Yeah.
and a
yeah.
pint,
Yeah, but
then just.
but that's not capital punishment.
That's not. It's not
So,
what I deserve.
you can't
Well, what have
choose-
I done? What
you
do I
can't-
deserve? Like,
Oh no, mate! I can't. I'm not going to go into some shit that you might have deserved it. Like,
what are you taking then?
oh, I tell you what, I've asked this question and I don't really know my own answer. Oh,
I reckon you'd enjoy a firing squad. You know, few people, they don't know who's going to shoot you. They've all got blanks. One's got the
yeah.
bullet.
You know what? I only found
And
out
the
that
one who shoots you is the one who's aiming for your dick. And he just blows your dick
it
off.
just blows my package off. Like.
Yeah. And that's how you go.
Oh, mate, nah.
Rough.
I think I'd go for hanging
That's-
because it's quick.
Well, it depends.
I know. If I got the expert in,
If
know,
you've got
like,
the expert in, he's measured your like height and body weight.
yeah,
Then the drop will break your neck.
yeah,
But if he's got it wrong, then it'll just be like you getting strangled out.
yeah. And if it's, I think there's what I've researched. Certain people, it can literally take a head off as well.
Jesus.
Because like it depends. Say you're really fat,
Yeah.
and they make it really long.
Yeah.
Obviously, your weight's gonna fucking pull it off.
Yeah.
So you have to get the measurements right.
Jesus.
Like I tell you what, there's a guy called Albert Pierpoint.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I haven't, no.
He's a famous hangman from the UK, right?
Yeah.
And he worked in multiple prisons, and I think in different countries, I think, because he was just like a one man band. He you'd hire him to do
Yeah.
it, like the HMP or whatever. And if you look him up, there's all the like how many people he actually technically killed, and he killed loads of what they called for war crimes, all the Nazis and shit.
Oh,
He
Jesus.
killed a lot of them.
Yeah.
Which, fair play, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck him.
But some of them, later found out they're guilty, they're innocent, sorry,
Yeah.
and all this. So
That's a lot of guilt to have.
a weird
on
thing,
your
isn't
head.
it?
Like, yeah.
but he was very sought after.
Yeah.
So, like, in the UK, it was probably over maybe 40 years he did it. So he had, like, hundreds, maybe thousands that he actually executed. And he was very precise.
Yeah.
So, like, it would be short and sweet, not sweet.
Short
but-
drop and a
yeah.
sudden stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so thinking of that, actually, there was we were talking about on one of the episodes when I was with Kev, and there was I can't remember what her name was, but there was a woman from like the Tudor times maybe, or something like a long time ago, and she was sentenced to death, and
Died.
it's all like the famous last words of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
when you're being
Yeah.
executed. And because she was wearing like a dress or a skirt, a dress, was going to say a skirt then. We wouldn't have skirts back then. Like little fucking tight skirts. She had
a little tutu on. Yeah. Sound.
She had a dress on. And when she was going into the gallows and like about to, putting the rope round her head, she said something like, it was something like to the guys that were watching, like the people that worked there.
Peeping Toms.
And she said something like, something about her dignity or whatever, like joking.
Yeah.
She said, oh, that was it. She said, once this is gonna something like when this happens, please don't look up, boys. Like as a joke.
Don't tell me it was.
And then it was like, bang, she died.
Jesus.
Obviously, like they're underneath, and they were like, for my dignity, don't look up.
Yeah, no,
I was like, oh,
you gotta respect the final wishes.
Yeah,
I mean, but why would you do that anyway? Like,
yeah,
come on, be fair.
Yeah.
That's rough, isn't it?
I know, yeah. So
I've got a question for you.
Go on.
You're about to be executed by, what did you say, hanging?
Yeah.
What are your final words?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. I'd probably go out really short and sweet with something like, just go fuck yourselves. Because you're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be all soppy because it ain't going to matter to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, if you've done something that bad to make you, get the death sentence. So no one, even your mum and dad are going to go, oh, no. Yeah, it's horrible what he's done.
Yeah.
So if you say sorry, they're going to go, well, it's not enough, is it?
No, it would never be enough.
Exactly. So, the victims or whatever, whatever I've supposedly done. But
I was only joking. Let him down. Let him down. Get him on. Yeah. He was joking.
No, my last words will go. My last words will be, wee, or just like, can I have another pint? Something just jokey and stupid because, fuck it. I would just like. I think I did a video on TikTok of people that were getting killed, capital punishment, last words. And John Wayne Gacy, the clown, he was a children's clown, the creepiest fucking thing. And his last words were literally, fuck you all, or fuck you, or something like that. And it's like, well...
Proper horrible prick.
He was... Nothing's going to help him out, so you might as well just go out, as you were.
Say something funny, though.
Yeah, I'd probably...
If you're a clown,
I'd probably
come on,
I'd be
step it up.
Yeah! Who wants a balloon?
Fucking hell, that's a shit joke, that.
Who
wants my balloon?
This balloon fucking dog is shit. I want my money back. I don't. Yeah, so what? So you said like shot behind the head, but that doesn't count. So,
I'm not allowed that.
No. But you got shooting, firing squad.
Yeah.
Hanging, electric chair, lethal injection.
What's the one where like you super glue your hands to your head, and then you like somehow like you'll hang yourself, but then like it rips your head off, so it looks like.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, I swear there's something where, like you'd super glue your hands to your head, right?
That's some strong glue.
And then some way you'd like behead yourself, but then so it would look like you've just pulled your head off.
Where the fuck have you found that? You've gone some like dark YouTube hole.
No. I swear it's normal.
Is it a real thing?
I promise it's normal.
Where?
No, I don't know.
Mate,
I regret even mentioning it now because I might have ruined the surprise. Like, how's he done that?
Fucking hell. Mate, you've got to choose one. You still haven't chosen. Come on. Fuck this, like, made up one you just done.
I'd go Green Mile style. I'd go electric chair, dry sponge, baby. Dry sponge,
mate. It'd be like proper, like crispy bacon.
Crispy bacon. Yeah.
Oh, crispy Martin.
Crispy Sammy M.
Oh.
But I think, no. Realistically...
Come on, get to the point. Like, realistically.
Stop chatting shit now. I'd take the lethal injection.
Would you?
Yeah. Just a nice, easy way out.
I've heard some fucking horror stories about that.
Go on.
Where... Similar to like the Green Mile thing, the dry sponge, but like some people sometimes where they've put the like wrong concoction,
like the wrong combination.
Yeah, or like like the measurements and shit. So it makes the person convulse. And it's similar to the gas, like where they shit themselves, piss themselves, bleed everywhere, and they're in complete excruciating pain for like 15 straight minutes.
Yeah, I love
and then
that.
they die, and it's like, yeah.
That sounds class.
Go out with a bang. Did you see Sam yesterday at the execution? Fucking hell, he went for it, like.
What was his last words?
Fucking hell. I'll tell you what, something interesting. So he'll probably listen to this, but his name's Bill. There's a guy called Bill Kimblin who's American.
Hiya, Bill.
All right, Bill, lad. He's an American author, criminologist. I think he's a psychologist.
Oh, I remember you saying about him, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes to executions because he's written a book about it. And he's told me, even recently, he's like, yeah, I've got loads in the diary like lined up. I go to them and I'm thinking like,
it must be such a weird
blows my mind.
experience.
Another question, would you go to one?
Depends on what the person had done, I think.
Okay, yeah, good
If
point.
they'd done something real fucked up and like I didn't have any personal connection to them, then it would kind of be like, yeah, fuck this person. I'll watch them like go. And maybe if I like had a connection to the person that they like wronged or whatever,
Yeah.
like murdered, then you could go to it justified as like, you know, fuck
Yeah.
this person. But if I don't know, as someone with an interest in, you know, the criminal side of things, I think if you had a connection with the person where you were talking to them and you knew why they'd done all the things, I suppose it kind of puts a bit of closure on what they've done. And,
Yeah.
you know, it's sort of like the right way to end it, potentially,
Yeah.
if they 100% have done it. If they, you know,
Yeah.
there's always a small bit of doubt, isn't there? Like, have they
Yeah.
100% done this crime?
Yeah, because obviously most convicts, you know, people in that situation, they're all like, I'm innocent. Most of them do. Like I said to you about my granddad.
Yeah.
He's like, he would get really annoyed at all these inmates because, you know, the proof is there, but they're all going, no, I'm fucking innocent.
Yeah.
And he's going, you fucking... He gets really angry. So if it was 100% proven DNA sort of, you know...
Yeah. They've done
Sorry.
this.
And they have definitely done it, but they're still going, I'm innocent. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, say it was...
But if you were talking to them and you have sort of like a bit of a connection with them where you were talking to them about like what they've done, their crimes and stuff like that, would that make that any different for you?
This is what Bill does.
Yeah.
So he knows them and talks to them and interviews them and he gets to know them
Yeah.
and then he watches them die. So I probably couldn't do it
No, I think
because I don't know. I think even just from watching interviews with death row inmates, you know, on YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're telling their story and they're saying like, I did do it, I'm a bad guy, but I'm repenting, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But,
Found Jesus.
Yeah.
Found Shoko.
Yeah. But you get to know them, and there's something in me personally where I'm kind of like, there's a bit of like sympathy there.
Yeah.
And I can't help it sometimes. I'm thinking, you are a piece of shit.
That's the human reaction, isn't it? You form
Yeah.
a little bit bond. But their side of it is that they were lacking that for the person that they've killed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, personally for me, if I got to know them and they said, you know, his execution's tomorrow, do you want to come? No. Because it would probably upset me because for multiple reasons.
Yeah, well, you're
You know.
you know like a normal human being, but a lot of these like, you know, psychopaths,
Yeah.
sociopaths, they use that against you. They'll use your empathy to make them feel sorry for them.
Yeah,
Potentially,
manipulation.
I'll win the appeal.
Yeah.
Tom vouches for me.
Yeah.
I'm sound.
Oh,
Let
mate,
me out.
100%. You know, there's so many interviews with serial killers I've watched where you actually, you know, Ed Kemper, he's like, I mention him quite often because it sounds bad, but like, you know, quote, he's my favourite. Yeah. You know, he fascinates me.
Yeah. He was talking with the police, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. and he was a very, very, very smart guy. IQ off the charts, like.
Yeah.
But interviews with him, there's multiple interviews where they're like 45 minutes long, you know, really, really long. And he's answering every question, but he's kind of, you know, he'll push it aside as though like, oh, never mind about what I'm infamous for. He'll go, yeah, I know I did do this and did.
I want to know about you.
And he'll go, but I did this in prison and I did that in prison. I'm really great. And he tries to get you on his side. Yeah. And I've spoken about it with Kev on one of the last episodes. And there's one interview where he goes, like they ask him a blunt question about his crimes, and he'll go, yeah, I did that and did that. Oh, but did you see the trophy case in the lobby? And they're going, yeah. And he's going, oh, that was mine. I did that because I was like a guardian. You know, I was like the what's the word, like supervisor of the inmates, because I was a good inmate and I got privileges and all that. And he's going on and on and on about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, the only reason we're here is to talk about what you've done, but he pushes it aside and goes, like me. And you kind of forget who you're watching on TV. You're like, this is quite a nice guy. Oh shit, no, it's actually Ed Kemper.
He's got like
same as Jeffrey Dahmer in his last prison interviews. Have you seen them?
No, I haven't. No, but like that's how the immediate reaction that you'd have, or like when your guard's down, where you're like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. That's like, you know, that's the same thing that his victims would have felt. Yes, 100%. Yeah, he would have gone, oh, I've done this, I've done that, I'm a great guy, and then he's got, and as soon as they get relaxed, it's like you know, you meet a stranger, and your guard's kind of up a little bit, but they're, you know,
you get to know them a little bit.
It's fine, you know, I've done all this for the community. You know, I'll give you a lift. It's fine.
Yeah, and then because you realise, like, a lot of the, like, you know, the infamous serial killer, like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Ed Kemper, all these, the victims were never just grabbed off the street and thrown into their van. They got to know him. They were like, you know, Ted Bundy especially was a ladies' man, good looking, charming, charismatic, intelligent. And he'd be like, hey, babe, how's it going? And they'd probably go on a date or whatever. And then he'd follow her and blah, blah, blah. And then he'd go, get in my car. And then he's going, now I can do it.
Yeah.
Because no one is around, you know, and, you know, you feel comfortable. But yeah, it just that's why I'm doing this sort of stuff. Because there are multiple, like, true crime podcasts and stuff. But I've talked about this stuff for years and years and years with people, like you in the pub.
Yeah.
And I've just gone, let's fucking record it, man, because
it's so interesting.
It is, yeah. And I could, like, we've been doing this for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, that's not the only time that we've talked about this guy in particular.
Yeah.
You know, all together, we've probably got like hours and hours.
Exactly, and this is why. Yeah, and this is why I wanted you on the podcast, because I've bumped into you in the pub before, and we've, you know, like, everyone else is having a good old chat about their, like, week at work, and me and you are going, fucking, have you seen this fucking Japanese terrorist cult? And I'm going, yeah, tell me about it. I'm like, fuck, I need to record this, man. And that's why I've done it, and it's great.
Definitely, it's such a sick idea, man. I rate it.
Nice one.
I hope there's some more cults, so I can come back.
Yeah.
Hopefully a new cult. They do some mental stuff.
Oh yeah. I've got a couple of books on them, and I do read about them sometimes here and there, just to because there are hundreds of cults. But
so
I
you're
only
more
know
interested in serial killers, crime like the mafia, or cults? Which is your main one?
Ooh, that's another good question. It's probably between the mafia and the serial killers, but I don't know. There's something quite romantic about the mafia. But I'd say
they're not quite as fucked up as the serial killers.
Yeah, but there are elements to the mafia where there are certain individuals that were in the mafia that did sick things. And
what was that guy? The Iceman,
yeah.
Iceman.
Yeah, well, this is.
You've done anything on him?
Yeah, I think we've already done an episode on him. Yeah, Richard Kuklinski.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the mafia is, for me, I'd say serial killers first.
Yeah. Because
I can just talk about it forever. But the mafia, I don't know, that it's because it's so different. I find the mafia more fascinating, more interesting because of the whole, like, because how smart they were.
Yeah.
You know, they could click their fingers and they
Milk
they run a whole neighborhood and a whole town, a whole city, whole of New York, and everyone was scared of them, and it's fascinating. But with serial killers, it's obviously completely different because
it's like a more individual kind of intelligence.
Yeah, and it's like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You know, but in the mafia, it's just like, oh shit, that happened. Like, how did that come to be? And you know, but I find the mafia in general, because of because it was so prominent, and it flourished for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And you think
more than one continent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind.
And as well, it's not just like the Italians. It's sort of like, you know, there's the Russian mafia, the triads,
the Turkish mafia,
the Yakuza.
Yep. Oh, mate. And, you know, even like they're called the Gomorrah, which is like the Sicilian mafia. I think it's Sicilian or Italian.
Yeah.
And they are like barbaric. You know, like if you did something wrong, they would kill your entire family. Jesus. Babies, and they would like stick your family's heads on sticks and put them in the street and say like, this is what will happen to you if you wrong me, you know. But obviously
sorry.
Yeah, exactly, mate. So it's just, you know, like you said, the Russian mafia, don't fuck with the Russians, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Is there anything like, I suppose the English mafia is just like the craze?
Yeah,
or like, you know,
underworld. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching an episode of, was it a guy called Michael Franzese, who's
yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah, and he was talking to, I can't remember his name now, but he was an ex-English gangster, and they were just swapping stories. And this guy looked like your granddad. He looked like a really nice old fella, Cockney bloke, and he was just like, yeah, if he come to my fucking manor, I'd fucking shoot him in the kneecaps. And you're like, no, you wouldn't. But he would, because he's an old man. So like, but he would. Yeah. 40 years before, he was a fucking hard little bastard, you know, like.
Well, I bet like if you were back when he was like a properly active person in the criminal life, if you looked at him on the street, you wouldn't think that of him. Yeah. Straight away.
Yeah,
and that's probably why he was successful.
Yeah, yeah, and there's, you know, in the American mafia, there was certain prominent members. And iconic, you know, like, you know, everyone knows, like Al Capone type, you know, but not him, where they were very quiet and in the background, in the shadows.
Yeah.
Like Carlo Gambino, who even to this day is still called the Gambino crime family. And he didn't create it. He was just one of the bosses, but they changed the name because he was such like a fucking perfect mafia boss, right? Yeah. And he died of like old age, and he spent barely any time in prison. Because he was smart.
Yeah.
And apparently in The Godfather,
kind of background.
Yeah,
that's
he was.
Who it's based on.
Yeah, that's who he was based on, Don Vito Corleone.
Yeah.
Because he was the quiet one where he could wink and someone will get murdered 2 days later. You know, like he'll order it and he's like, hush, hush. But then you get people like Al Capone and John Gotti who were like,
big in the
I'm famous. I'm going down the red carpet. I'm going to mingle with all the celebrities. It's like, no, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of it is it, like, you know,
that's how
it doesn't exist.
Like, yeah.
It shouldn't exist, you know, in the public eye. But people like John Gotti, they got a taste for power and fame.
How different personalities would react
exactly
to that level of power.
Yeah. So when
like
you get,
whether you're gonna be a long standing person or you're just like a flash in the pan.
Yeah, exactly.
Big bright flame.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, with the John Gotti thing, so he rose to the rank of boss because Paul Castellano, who was the boss before him, when Carlo Gambino died, everyone was like, there was a guy called what's his name now? I can't remember now. It'll come to me, but they thought he was next in line because he was like the best, you know, like his consigliere, like his advisor to Carlo Gambino. And when Carlo Gambino died, they were like, "Oh, sound, this guy's going to be in charge." But Carlo Gambino went, "Nah, it's going to be Paul Castellano," and they all hated him.
Yeah.
The only reason he did it was because it was Carlo Gambino's brother-in-law. So he didn't. Paul Castellano didn't actually go through all the shit from, you know, rank 1 to 10.
Yeah.
He went from like 1 to 10.
Yeah.
because he was family. So they all fucking hated him for it. And because as well, he wanted to turn the mob into like a legitimate business. And he was very like straight-laced and business-like. And he was mingling with all these like prominent business people. And all these young thugs like John Gotti were like, you fucking slimy
you're
bastard.
fucking it up. Yeah.
And he had a mansion and he acted like the president basically.
Yeah.
So they were like, we are going to get you. So basically what John
Put
Gotti...
target on his own back.
He did. And John Gotti and co. conspired together and went, we're going to fucking kill him.
So how did they get him?
Mate, it's a great story. So John Gotti and co. all got together and it was very brazen of him. So, to go against the boss because there's a commission. So...
Yeah, the 5 families.
Yep. And all the heads of the families have to agree on what your decision is. So if you come up to the commission and go, I want to kill Paul Castellano, and they'll go, why? Because we don't like him. Well, no, you're not going to do it just because you don't like him. So they were like, we're going to have to just do it anyway. And what they did was they thought, well, if we do it, the aftermath is going to be maybe everyone's going to come after us. But they had a big enough gang and strong lads that were really loyal that they thought, you know what?
We can get away
Fuck
with it,
them.
yeah.
We're going to actually fight against them. Even if the 4 families come against them, come against us, we're going to have them.
Yeah.
And they were quite feared anyway. So they thought they used it to their advantage. And so what they did was they found out that Paul Castellano and his bodyguard Thomas Bellotti were going to Sparks Steakhouse in New York, in Manhattan, I think it was. And my friend went there recently, actually, and I told, because he likes the mafia stuff.
Nice steak.
And no, we didn't go in there, but I told him about it and said, please get a picture of outside.
Yeah.
And he did, and he sent it to me.
So it's still going? Is it still a...
Yeah, still called Sparks Steakhouse.
Oh, you'll have to go, mate.
Yeah, mate, and it's in 1985.
Yeah.
And they found out that Paul Castellano, Thomas Bellotti, his bodyguard, were driving to a meeting in Sparks Steakhouse. And
oh Jesus!
John Gotti and Sammy Gravano and all of their goons and that were like, plotting his assassination. So they got about 4 or 5 gunmen, all dressed in like Russian like coats and hats, the big fluffy hats.
Yeah.
And they
surely that's not like inconspicuous.
I know. I thought this because there was like 5 of them and they're going to stick out, but maybe it was because they all kind of looked the same, so it might have confused people.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
what
anyway.
Did he look like? What was he wearing? Russian outfit?
Yeah, and it's like which one?
You could easily take that off as well.
Yeah, they probably did throw it in a dumpster around the corner. So what they did was they found out where he was going to be and when, and these goons waited outside the steakhouse. And John Gotti and Sammy Gravano, his like underboss, like his right hand man, were in a car opposite, ready to watch.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to make sure, and probably a bit more of a narcissistic, sick, morbid, I'm gonna watch you die. You're a fucking piece of shit. And and he got out the car, bang, 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 fucking killed them both. And they all ran off, dropped their guns, ran off or whatever. And after that, so obviously then the Gambino family became dispersed. Everyone was like, what are we going to do? Our boss is dead. And John Gotti was like, I'm the fucking boss now, boys. And they're all like, okay. And that was it, because they were scared of him. And all the other...
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And because that was
He's just murdered the boss.
Yeah, exactly. So all the other 4 families were like, right, do we go against him, or
more war?
Yeah, more war, less money, more deaths, more police involvement, or should we just go, you know what, we'll fucking let it slide, and we're a bit scared of you. Let's just kind of carry on because it's a business. That's all.
You just want your money to keep coming in.
So it was one of the most boldest, fucking bravest moves. One out of probably 2 ever. In mafia history, over 100 years of history,
to be let off,
and he did it.
Yeah.
And for someone who did end up becoming a bit of a shit boss, because he was the police knew everything about him because he was just out in the open. He had a social club where they'd all just walk, on the high street, like a type of high street thing, city centre, and they'd all be walking in and out, and the FBI are just watching them with cameras, going click, click, that's him, he's going there at this time on this day, so they know who everyone is and why they're going, all this sort of bugging the rooms and listening to him. And John Gotti just didn't take any precautions. He was just like, he went upstairs to some old lady's flat who was a widow of one of his gang members.
Yeah.
And he said, can we use your flat because it might be bugged downstairs? So they watched him go upstairs and they were like, why is he going upstairs? So they snuck in the one night, bugged her flat and heard everything. He was going, I fucking killed this prick because he did this and did that, and the piece of shit, and and he kept saying we're Cosa Nostra, we're a murder, and we're the mob, and he was just admitting everything.
Yeah,
and it's like they wrote him a script, to
I'm
say
upstairs, I'm sound.
Yeah, and they caught him, and that's how he got caught.
They'll never get me upstairs.
Yeah, innit? They can see me go upstairs, but they'll never find me upstairs. Fucking hell, mate. And all these other mobsters would find different restaurants that their routine was never the same because they knew people were following them.
It makes you think, how intelligent was he? Obviously, must have been an intelligent guy to rise that high up.
Yeah.
But, think about it a little bit, mate.
I know. The thing is, as soon as he got on that throne, Billy Big Bollocks.
Yeah,
he was like, I own this place now.
I can't be touched.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got the unions.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got people high up in the law.
Yep. And he there was a couple of court cases he had, and I think one of them was maybe like a murder charge or a manslaughter or some shit. He got away with it. So after that, he was like, mate, if I can get away with actual murder in a fucking court, I can do anything I want.
Yeah.
And it just went to his head.
Yeah.
And Al Capone, he was similar, not the same, but he was similar, where he was like, I'm a massive mobster. Everyone loves me. I'm untouchable.
Yeah.
It's like, just shut the fuck up, man. Close the door. Close the curtains. But they don't. They go, they open the curtains and go, come in, guys, come in.
Didn't he have syphilis, though?
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
It must have fucked his brain up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he was...
There he is, the big man.
Yeah, strange. Hitler's just come on the TV. Anyway, so that was the episode on... Was it Aum Shinrikyo?
Aum Shinrikyo, that's the one.
The Japanese terrorist cult. And I just want to say thank you to Sam for being on it.
Thanks for having me. A pleasure.
And I'll get you back.
Sound?
That was good fun.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening anyway. See you later.